Welcome back to BK Nothing But Nets trade deadline edition. I'm here with my co-host, my partner in crime, as always, Dylan over at Nets Press. Hope everything is well. We got some news, so you want to break it, Dylan? You want to tell us what the Nets did today?
Yeah, three-team trade between the Clippers and Raptors. The Brooklyn Nets are receiving Ochai Agbaji, I'm gonna say, and a
I think that's right.
2032 and a 2032 second-round pick via Toronto. The Nets do not give up a single player in that deal, nor a single asset. So, a salary dump on Brooklyn's end, something that we have mentioned numerous times was likely to happen, whether that have been Ochai Agbaji, Lonzo Ball, Bogdan Bogdanovic, Kyle Kuzma, etc. So the salary dump finally has happened. I expect one more move to be made, specifically being Cam Thomas, which I know that we're going to get into here shortly. But
Yeah,
overall, very, very solid pickup. He is on an expiring contract. I think it's $6.3 million for Agbaji.
yeah.
So overall, can't complain. Still 25 years old, very young player. See how he pans out here. Maybe he gets himself a second contract, but interesting move. Definitely don't hate it, but nothing, too great about it. So
I did want to touch on this a little bit. Oh, come on, you gotta help me with this name. I know him.
Ochai,
I know him vaguely. I've seen him play a little bit with Toronto. Ochai, I think his name is like a
Ochai.
chai latte, but
I think
Ochai
it's
is my
Ochai.
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 Uh,
Ochai Agbaji. I think
Abaji,
Agbaji. I'm just gonna call him Abaji. All right. I'm not enunciating the G. I think it's
Abaji. Yeah,
yeah. Ochai
uh,
Abaji. All right. That's
Ochai.
his
We're gonna
name
go with that.
until
We're gonna go to
until further
Ochai.
notice.
Yeah, we'll eventually get this, and we still won't get like Jaeger. How do we say Jaeger's last name? Joman, is that right?
Joman.
Joman. Yeah. All right. Ochai. I've seen him a little bit. What is he? Is he going to play in the Nets? Why exactly did the Nets make this trade? Why do I like this or why do I dislike it? I don't really get it. We get a second round pick in 2032, which means nothing to me. We got some cash. I don't understand why this trade was made. Like, how did the Nets get this? Explain it to me like I'm five.
Yeah, I think it is. It's just a salary dump. There's nothing more to it. Nets
But
had
we
some
also
cap
got
space to.
cash.
We did, yeah. I believe it was 3.5 million total. So, yeah. I mean, they're figuring out ways to do things, which is nice. But I still fully expect, a package deal of Haywood Highsmith and Cam Thomas here shortly. Um, I think that's ultimately what is going to be going towards Milwaukee. I'm hoping that's what it is at least. I don't want to see Dayron and Thomas packaged together, but we'll see.
He's on an expiring deal, so this means nothing. Is he gonna play, or the Nets gonna try him out? Is he gonna be bought out?
Oh
What
yeah,
is
I
the
definitely
like?
think he'll get some minutes. I definitely think he
Okay,
can get some minutes.
he was a relatively high pick, mid first round. When was he picked?
Uh, let's see.
I'll look it up right now. Yeah, I should have had this done. A
I was gonna
14th
say he
overall.
was
Yeah,
selected.
14th
Yeah,
overall by the
14th
Cavs.
overall. Yep, and that
So
was
I
only
mean, so
4 years ago.
he was drafted as a 3-and-D wing. He was drafted as a shooter. That has not really panned out, has it?
No. Um, I mean, he's a very solid defender. The shooting needs some work. If there's a place that can fix shooting, it definitely seems like Brooklyn as of right now, especially with how Jaeger and Traore has panned out in the NBA so far. So maybe there's some room for improvement there, but we'll see. Again, this is just a salary dump. It's nothing spectacular, nothing flashy. The Nets need to put on a little bit of money just because they were so far below the mandated salary cap.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. At this point, I do believe one of either Jalen Wilson or Tyrese Martin will be bought out now. There's also a world where I do see Cam Thomas getting bought out if they cannot find a trade partner for him. Haywood Highsmith, another potential buyout candidate if they can't find a trade for him. So we'll see what happens. There's 4 players as of right now with Agbaji now 5 players that are expiring contracts. So you have the opportunity to buy out a couple of players if you make some extra moves.
So let's talk about that. I'm assuming they're going to trade Cam Thomas because from what we'll get into it. Cam Thomas didn't even fly to Orlando. Is that correct? He
That
stayed
is correct.
behind.
He is not with the team right now.
You saw when he walked off the court the other night, he was kind of slow walking off the court as if like, okay, this is the last time ever walking off this court as a member of the Brooklyn Nets. Like you could kind of see it. Am I making that up, or was he when he came out of the game with about 4 or 5 minutes left? You saw him kind of stroll off the court and kind of take it in like
can
this.
I be honest with you?
Yeah, he's just lazy
I
as hell.
stopped
I'm
watching
making
that game after the third quarter. I mean, my God, it was horrible. So I actually didn't see that. But hey, I've been asking for this for 2 years. I am ready. I'm done with this. Just get it over with.
I said in the offseason, it never made sense to me why they brought him back. I do think they're going to trade him. This is the first time since he got back from injury where I actually thought that they're actually going to trade him and they're not going to have to either buy him out or cut him or do something. Like I think there's actually a taker, and that's why he's not flying to Orlando and he's not going to be a part of the team anymore. Do you think he's getting
the thing about it? Yeah, I was just about to say. I think the thing about it is, as of right now, I've been proposing a lot of Cam Thomas to Milwaukee in a 3-team trade that sends Giannis somewhere else. I do still think that is why Milwaukee is showing interest. I think ultimately, if they fail to get something like that done, that's maybe where Cleveland moves in. I know Cleveland has now been rumored to potentially looking at Cam Thomas, and that actually makes a lot of sense. You could package up Cam Thomas and Haywood Highsmith to Cleveland, and you can take back Max Strus's 2-year, $16 million deal. The Nets would be adding $4.3 million, while the Cavs save $4.3 million. So I do think that is a framework that would work out very well for both teams. I do think that the Nets could potentially get a swap first-round pick out of that, maybe in 2031. Worst case scenario, 3 to 4 second-round picks. But I definitely see a framework with Cleveland being something that makes a lot of sense as of right now.
For Max Strus, you're saying?
Yeah. 2-year deal. He's had a really horrible season. But again, 2-year deals is exactly what the Nets are looking for. If your goal is to aim big in the 2027 offseason, you would now have, Max Strus or Kyle Kuzma, depending on which team ultimately goes after Thomas. You'd have Michael Porter Jr., who's a free agent in 2027. Zaire Williams, Day'Ron Sharpe. Of course, that's if they pick up their team options and keep him into next season. So you've got a ton of money coming off of the books in 2027. I think that's what the Nets are going to be aiming for, is a 2-year contract and a guy that they could potentially get picks for.
I'd be with that trade. I'm not. I mean, you think Cleveland wants to? Why does Cleveland want Cam Thomas? Like, you can't play him really with Spider Mitchell, right? Like that's not going to work. And we talked about we talked about that. Well, maybe not with you, but when the Nets were flirting with the idea of Spider Mitchell, whether that was an idea, like you can't really play Spider and Cam together. So
yeah, I think it's mainly because of the fact that the Cavs have struggled horribly this season with scoring off the bench. So I do think that there is a world where they do look for some form of microwave scorer. But I also think that there's a real conversation to be had that Donovan Mitchell may not want to be there long term. Yeah, so why not go get a scoring guard to pair with a playmaking point guard in James Harden and, your defensive player of the year in Evan Mobley? I think that it makes a little bit of sense. Do I think that Cam Thomas is going to improve as a basketball player wherever he goes next? No. But I do think that it makes relative sense if Donovan Mitchell at some point in time here in the next year or so decides that he wants out, then it makes sense.
I think the idea of him with Kenny Atkinson, this doesn't make sense to me, right? Like maybe. I mean, it's possible. The trade makes sense. It's just putting. And this is the problem. Nobody wants Cam. Maybe Cleveland does. Maybe we can ship him to Cam. But it's like anywhere he goes, he either doesn't fit in, or like that coach would never want him. And we saw Kenny. His offense is all about ball movement, getting the ball out quickly. It just seems like Cam is the antithesis of a player that Kenny Atkinson would utilize. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely don't disagree. There's something interesting brewing in Cleveland whether people want to believe it or not. I mean, you have Donovan Mitchell, James Harden, Evan Mobley. That's a really big three. You've got Jalen Tyson, who's emerging. They just traded for Keon Ellis, who's one of the better 3-and-D players in the
Yeah.
league. You've got a young backup point guard in Tyrese Proctor, who has 3-4 years of experience in college at Duke. Thomas Bryant, who was a big help for Denver last year in the playoffs. Dean Wade, Sam Merrill, great spot up 3-point shooters and floor spacers. So they really do have a very solid team. I do think, though, that it's coming down to coaching issues and then the buy-in of Donovan Mitchell on whether or not he actually wants to be there.
This is the other elephant in the room. So this is going to be 2 parts. I'll read John's comment. Cam Thomas could be roped into a Giannis blockbuster trade where Brooklyn acquires back a bad salary and draft capital while Cam goes to the Bucks as a small salary dump. So I'm going to ask 2 questions here, Dylan. Does Giannis get traded tomorrow? I thought he was going to be traded before the deadline. I'm not so sure about that anymore. And
I
if
think
so,
if
is
the trade
Cam
is to happen, it's happening tonight.
tonight? Yeah, tonight or tomorrow. Yeah. Okay. Do you think has Giannis played his last game with the Bucks? I'll phrase the question like that.
I do believe so.
I thought so too, but now I'm not so sure. Like I really haven't heard. Have you heard any rumors that we're close?
I've heard that Minnesota and Miami are closing in. They're just looking for other teams to help facilitate these deals. Minnesota,
Okay.
I don't understand how they even have an opportunity at Giannis because they don't have any draft capital. It makes no sense to me. Like, if you're telling me right now that Giannis is going to get traded for a similar package to Luka Doncic and Jaren Jackson got 3 first-round picks, I'm going to seriously start questioning what this league is doing. Because it makes no sense why Milwaukee would want anything from Minnesota. They don't have draft capital. They don't have young players on rookie contracts. Jaden McDaniels is on a 4-year deal. Julius Randle is older and on a multi-year deal. They have Naz Reid, who's on a 4-year deal. Like, that doesn't help a rebuild. So I'm not really sure why Milwaukee would even show interest in a guy like Giannis. Or I'm sorry, why Milwaukee would even show interest in a team's offer like Minnesota. Miami makes sense. They have a very solid package. But to me, I still don't know why Giannis doesn't want to go to Portland. It makes all the sense in the world.
Because
if you're willing to go to
he
Minnesota,
wants to go to a big market. That's why he's spent his whole
but
career in
Minnesota's
Milwaukee.
not a big market.
No, Minnesota is. I don't think he wants to go to Minnesota either, which is why I don't think there's I think he wants to go to New York. I think he wants to go to LA. I think there's a couple of places. I think he'd go to San Antonio. That's a big market. But
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Look who's here.
What's up?
How we doing?
How
What's
you doing,
going on,
Pete?
boys?
Good, man. Good. Nets insider Pete over at Nets Fans. You know,
Not a Nets insider, but go
my
on.
favorite Nets insider, Pete over at Nets Fans. You know. So we're talking about Giannis. So real quick, is Giannis going to be traded today or tomorrow? If so, is Cam Thomas going to be part of that trade?
I think he's gonna get traded. I think it's gonna be to Golden State. We'll see. We'll see what happens. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. With all these trades that have gone down, it's very shocking to see all these moves. I feel like kind of came out of nowhere. Usually, you see like the big domino fall, and then it all happens. And this time seems to be everything's happening, and we're still waiting on the big domino.
It's
I don't know,
been
I mean,
a hectic.
multiple big dominoes have fallen, like Jaren
Yeah.
Jackson, James Harden. Giannis is definitely clogging up the market for teams like Brooklyn who are trying to take back salaries. That's for sure. But I mean, there's been some massive freaking deals made in the last 48 hours, which has been fun. You got Anthony Davis heading to Washington, which is huge. You've got Jaren Jackson going to Utah is one of the best pickups I've seen in the last couple
Can we
of years
talk
at the
about
trade deadline.
Can we talk about those 2 trades just real quick? I don't want to be tangential on it, but I do want to address those 2 things. Is this Washington going all in with acquiring Trey and AD?
Yeah, I mean, think about it. They're now in a position to land a top 8 pick, You just got Trey Johnson in this past year's draft. You still have Bub Carrington. You still have Bilal Coulibaly. You still have Keyshawn George. You just added Trey Young and AD. You still have Alex Sarr. Like, that is a freaking unit being made over in Washington. It's really just going to come down to if they can find the coach that's actually able to get them past this horrible era that they're in. Their current coach, I don't think, is the guy that's going to get it done for them.
All right, so I got a question for you. Thibodeau, could you bring in a veteran coach like that who knows how to win to save the ship here? I don't think that worked with Trey Young, but I mean, that's not a Tibbs guy, but I mean, Tibbs is a guy that is used over and over and over again to at least stabilize franchises.
I mean, I don't hate the idea.
I still think this AD is going to be hurt, and he's already an expert trade. I feel like, and I don't know. I'm not a Trey Young guy. I've never been a Trey Young guy. I just think he's an inefficient scorer who turns the ball over a lot, takes bad shots. I'm not saying it's not upside him. Trey Young is a good player. It's just he's not my kind of player. And then AD's hurt all the time, and he's the man's trades. I personally think this is going to backfire. Dylan, you think this is going to work to some degree, that they'll at least be a competitive team in the East, correct? A top 4 or 5 seed moving forward? Not this year, obviously, but yeah.
I don't know if they'll necessarily be a top 5 seed by next year, but I can definitely see them being like 6 or 8. Yeah.
Okay. Pete, you want to break the tie on this? I think this is gonna implode ugly.
It's funny, when I saw that trade go down for AD, you're the person I thought about, Gary. I'll tell you
All
why.
right.
Because this is the type of move that you would hope for the Nets, right? Bringing in a Trey Young, maybe not, you don't like Trey Young, but bringing in, guys like that to try to be competitive now. But what Dylan is saying is right. Top 8 pick, Trey Johnson, those two guys. I don't think they're going to be a top 5 in the East next season, but they're definitely, they're making a jump, and I could see them making another move. I really could. Like, let's face it, they have a nice little contingency right now. I think their GM's doing a great job.
I like Trey Johnson is Cam Thomas. Look, shout out Trey Johnson, Lake Highlands High School, North Dallas. Shout out to him. Texas Longhorn. He's not good. There was the one guy, Dylan, that me and you did not want the Nets to draft. And now we're counting him as a winning asset for the Wiz. I understand what is he average, about 15 a game, and he's scoring the ball well. But
yeah,
Trey Johnson, that's one of your building pieces. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe you trade him. Maybe you trade him, right?
Dylan?
Dylan.
I don't think they're necessarily going to trade him, but I
for the right
think
vet.
Nah, I don't think so. I mean, realistically, they're going to have cap space this offseason. They may or may not, but I know they're looking at extending both Anthony Davis and Trey Young. But realistically, Trey Johnson could be a 6-man for him. Say they do somehow landed, a Peterson or a Keaton Wagler or somebody in that like 2-3 spot, then yeah, I could see Trey Johnson being their 6-man. Why not? I mean, you'd have the chance to have Bub Carrington, Trey Johnson, and Bilal Coulibaly off your bench. That's pretty versatile.
Is this is AD going to play this year, or is he going to be on the Trey Young schedule and just not play this year?
He's not going to play.
No, he's not playing.
Why are the Nets playing Michael Porter Jr.? Like, Michael Porter Jr. has had 2 back injuries. I'm sure you could find something wrong with him to put him out on the DL. It's just, he's injured, right? Why are the Nets still playing Michael Porter Jr.? They're not trading him. I think we can all agree on that, right? Michael Porter Jr. is not getting traded in the next 20 hours. We all agree on that?
Yeah. Unless something changes like dramatically, right? I don't think it's going to happen. I think you're going to have to wait for the lottery to see anything in that. But the reason why he's playing is because, yes, he's had the injuries in the past, but keep in mind, he is going to be a free agent after next season, and the guy has a history of being hurt. You don't want that injury tag to be put on you. If anything, you would see something like personal reasons Because why would you, if you have a back injury history of it, why would you want another one to be on your record?
Well, because it's more the Nets putting him down for a abundance of precaution, right? Like an abundance of safety. We're gonna
Injury, and you would say injury management. Then.
That's what I'm saying. He's injured. We're gonna rest him because he's injured. He's injured. He's not 100%. So
you'd have to agree with that, right? Because the player,
I don't know. Does he, Dylan? I don't know. You guys might know that better than me. Does he? If I say because then, I feel like Kobe would never sit down. Kobe stuffed his Achilles back in and said, "Can I play like this?" Right? Does he have to agree to it? I don't know. I feel like that a doctor has to say he's not cleared to play.
Up to a point. It's up to a point because he could put in a grievance with the player union saying, "Listen, I'm good enough to play, and they're trying to sit me down, and I feel like that's hurting my value." He could say something like that. Now, could there be a way that they both agree to it? Sure. It depends. It really does on how they go about things.
And Giannis is not playing in the All-Star game, correct? That's out?
Yeah, I don't think that he's playing in it.
So is he getting replaced by Michael Porter Jr. or not?
It's another international player that got hurt.
Oh, that's right. So Giannis has to be replaced by an international guy? Is that what it is?
Sounds like it. Yeah.
That's stupid.
It is.
They're really good. They're really going to do this to my boy MPJ. We're really freezing him out of the All-Star game.
Listen, it's better for us that he doesn't make it because if you do want to rest him, there's more scrutiny on guys resting when they are all-stars. Remember that. That's in the CBA. So it's actually, if you want him to rest, it's better he doesn't make it.
Fair point, Pete. Fair point. You're right about that. If the guy's an all-star or all-NBA guy, you're right. You're right. The two other trades I wanted to touch on real quick was Utah, Triple J. I don't what is Utah looking to do here? Are they looking to win now? Is this their move to? I mean, obviously, I don't know why I'm asking a stupid question. Utah is now looking to win, correct? But it still looks like they're tanking. So what do I make of this?
Go ahead, Dylan.
I mean, I think they're gonna be mixing back and forth players that they're sitting for the remainder of the season.
And then so this is a move for next year.
Yeah.
It's just that they traded picks, which is why it's odd to me. They traded 3 first-rounders, right? I'm not saying it's a bad trade. I think they got a hell of a player. I'm not sure that I'm confused by what direction they're going, I guess.
But what picks are they though? Like they're not. It's not Utah's pick this year. You know what I mean? I don't think the picks were that good, if I remember correctly. We'd have to look that up. But I don't know what they're doing. I don't know how they're going to go about it. But if there is one team in the NBA that's flawless at tanking, it is Utah. So I think they'll be okay.
It's a 2027. The Lakers 2027. At 2027, that's the most favorable of Utah, Cleveland, and Minnesota. So it's Utah's pick next year. And a 2031 Phoenix Suns pick. So it's a future Suns pick, 2031, and 2 picks next year, the Lakers, and then most likely theirs. I mean, Where is Utah now that they have Jaren Jackson Jr.? Where is Utah in their rebuild? How far off are they? Where are they in their rebuild? Pete, Dylan,
I think the rebuild's done after this pick.
Yeah,
this year.
It's okay. I mean, it looks incomplete to me, but I guess I'm not gonna. Who am I to question Danny Ainge, right, Pete?
Yeah, I think they're one player away, and I believe they have a lot of cap room. They still have a lot of picks. They're gonna make one more big move for sure. But as far as them in rebuilding, they just took a major step forward, right? And it would be safe to assume that they're not going to be tanking next season.
I did want to get back, and then the Oklahoma City trade. I mean, I guess it makes sense. It's a good trade for Oklahoma City. Philly's got an abundance of point guard. I guess that kind of works for everybody, and they're getting Oklahoma City's pick this year. What pick was it they're getting this year?
The Rockets pick.
The Rockets pick. And then they got 3 threes or something. I mean, 3 twos.
Something like that. Yeah.
They sold low on him. They sold low on the game.
Talented player, he's a talented player. It just seems like this is okay. I mean, what did you guys think of the McCain trade? Who wins this trade?
Go ahead, Dylan.
I mean, any trade that the Thunder make, you're thinking they're winning it. So
With you,
I'm not
I'm
even
with
gonna
you.
go against that.
I think Dylan's right. You know what I mean? Like, some news came out that SGA's hurt.
Yeah.
Yes, this is a perfect way to get some talent on and to kind of fill in and plug in that hole a little bit. And what did they actually pay? A Rockets first round pick and 3 2s. They have a cupboard full of picks. They don't even feel this. They really don't.
Why did Philly make that trade? Seriously, like, isn't Jared McCain worth more than the 28th pick or whatever that's going to be in the draft? Seriously. Like, I know McCain has taken a step back this year, that it seems. But, I mean, last year, he was a very good player before he got hurt. Did they just not believe in him? And it was like 20 games or whatever he played last year before his injury. Was that an aberration? Is he actually not that good of a player?
I think it's the belief of VJ Edgecombe more than anything.
But I'm saying, couldn't you get more for him? I'm not saying don't trade him. Is that really all you can get from McCain? Is the 27th, whatever that pick is? It just seems like he's better than that.
I don't know. That's a good question. It does look like they sold low, but maybe they believe that this is the best deal that they could get, I guess. I really have no idea. It is kind of a strange move. It just seems like OKC is again making a good trade by buying on someone who's playing not as great as he did a year or two before and seeing if they could get the magic in a bottle and kind of play him right now when SGA is hurt. It's a good deal for OKC.
All right, Pete, Dylan, anything else? Any other trades that you guys want to touch on before we transition back to the remaining net players?
No, I'm ready.
Go.
All right, real quick, Pete, we didn't get your take on the Nets trade. They gave up nothing, basically. They take on, how we say, Ochai.
Ubaji.
I think we agree on the last thing. The first thing is going to give me headaches. Uche Ubaji. What are your thoughts on that trade, and what do you make of it? I know it's not much, but what are your thoughts?
Expiring contract. A guy who's like a good defender, kind of fits in with the Jordi Fernandez deal of guys who will hustle. I think he shot very well last year in limited time with the Rockets. So maybe you see how that works out. He doesn't have the greatest looking shot, and I think he's only shooting 19% for 3 this year. I wouldn't even look at this more than an expiring contract and a cup of coffee to see if this guy is anything. He's probably going to be off the team next year if I had to guess.
I would. It's an expiring deal, so I would say unless he plays. I mean, yeah, I don't see any way of him being on the team next year, because does he not kind of cover the same ground as Drake Powell? It's not the same. I know Drake Powell's better, but he's cut from that cloth, right?
I guess you would say so. Yeah, it's a 3-and-D, right? It's a 3-and-D guy, basically. Like that's what you're looking at over here. He was drafted pretty high. I think he was like the 15th or 12th overall pick.
We looked up; it was 14. Yeah,
14th overall pick, something like that, a couple of years ago with Cleveland. And it's a cup of coffee. This is obviously for the second round pick. Nothing really special here. I'm hoping we have a little more stuff to talk about next time around when I talk to you guys about the trade deadline, because if this is it, it's a little boring for me.
It's last year we did nothing at the deadline, so this is already more action than last year. But I want to bring Dylan back. Michael Porter Jr., it's been your wish to keep him, Dylan. It's been my wish too. I wanted to keep him. We already talked about Cam. That's the one guy I think every net fan agrees with is going to be gone. Michael Porter Jr., I would say, is the opposite. He's going to be here. What are your thoughts? Are any feelers out there or on the status of Michael Porter Jr.?
I think he's here. I think that the Nets will revisit talks in the offseason to see if his value is still there or if his value is up even more. But ultimately, I think that he's a guy the Nets should keep long term. I think that you should give him a 3-year extension this offseason and go from there.
Pete?
I think the lottery will tell us everything. I firmly believe the rumors that if the Nets wind up getting like a top 3 pick, that they're going to try to go for it. MPJ would probably fit in very nicely over there. I do think there's a very good chance that they do trade him if they don't hit a nice lottery pick, because I don't know how much they want to pay him. They obviously really like him, despite everything with the whole podcast, words and whatnot. He's fitting very well in the locker room. Great system fit. Jordy really likes him. MPJ has nothing but great stuff to say about the Nets. I don't know if you would say he's a long-term fit for the Nets, but I definitely think that compared to about a month ago, it's looking more likely for sure.
The other two guys, so we all think that MPJ is going to be here. He has not played his last game for the Nets. He's going to be here beyond tomorrow, correct?
I think so. I think everyone who got onto the plane for the Nets today will probably be a Net past the trade deadline.
Which I guess it's going to answer my next two questions. The two bigs. I always thought one would get traded. I was never sure which one. I always thought that Sharp was more tradable, but he'd be the guy you wanted, you at least wanted to trade. But I thought Sharp would get traded. So either of the bigs, Sharp and Claxton. Pete, Dylan, what are your thoughts? Are either of them getting moved, or are we done basically with trades?
0% chance that Claxton gets moved. Maybe 1% chance. Doubt it. I think if I had to pick one player that I thought was going to get traded, I would say Day'Ron is the guy, because the contract, he's still young. He has nice peripheral advanced numbers. I just feel like there could be a fit for him in the NBA, and there are a couple teams that might want to take a look at him, whether it's a backup or a starter on a losing team. And like we just said, the contract is very good. You're not taking a huge risk. It's not a long-term thing if it doesn't work out. I would still think that there's a great chance he gets traded.
To who?
I don't know.
Any clue? Okay.
I would say Boston. Boston would have been my pick before.
Well, yeah, that's out now. I don't understand why that Stevens checked in with Marks for Claxton. And we know that he was willing to make that trade. Simons for the big. Why did that not get? Look, I'm speculating here, but I'm not. We all know that Stevens checked in about Claxton before he checked, because that's a Stevens type player, and Vucevic is not. So why was that not done? Right? Like we've been talking about this for a year now. That being the crux of a trade. Anthony Simons on an expiring deal, and the Celtics get their big man. Why is that not done?
Claxton's value is a lot higher.
So give me the first. So give me. I agree. So give me Simons and the first, and we're good. Are you guys good with that?
No, I think his value is higher than that. Not much higher, but I think it's higher. I'm a full believer in Claxton. I don't know how
the Celtics' first round pick isn't good now, though. Going into the year, we thought it may be a lottery pick. Now that pick is going to be 25. You know what I'm saying? It's not that good of a pick. But Dylan, what if that trade hypothetically was offered? Where would you sit on that trade? It's all immaterial now, but hypothetically, if it was offered.
I mean, to me right now, the only reason why Claxton's not getting traded is because the Nets feel Giannis may make it to the offseason.
Okay.
That's the only reason why I could see him not being traded, is because if you are going to go for that move, you need the contracts to match up. So, again, I'm fully against it. I think that it is an absolutely idiotic idea to go after Giannis, whether it be right now or in 6 months from now. Because regardless, you're going to be giving up Noah Clowney, you're going to be giving up Nolan Traore, you may be even now having to give up Drake Powell if Cam Thomas is no longer here, which he won't be. Then you've got Terrence Mann and Nick Claxton. That matches the salaries. But to me, that's just stupidity to move on from Traore and Powell that quickly. So again, I hope that's not what they're trying to aim for, because it's not smart whatsoever. But that's also the type of stupid shit that Sean Marks likes to do. So it wouldn't surprise me.
I disagree here, Dylan. I got to disagree with you. I think they like Claxton. He's grown up with the team. He was a Marks pick. I think they see him as a system fit and someone that you say is a Brooklyn Net. I think they want him to be the center the next time that they compete. Obviously that can change depending with the draft and free agency and trades. But I think there's a very good chance he plays out his contract as a Net.
I don't know, because to me, you can like a player all you want, but people know when somebody is going to help you win versus when they're not. And Nick Claxton has not been a player that you can really win long term with. He's not a reliable big man, and he's not a reliable stretch four. So it's like, unless if you find the piece next to him that works best, maybe that's a different discussion, but they've had 6 years to do that, and the best person that they had was KD, and he's no longer here. So at some point, I think Claxton's contract gets used for a star.
Oh, that's very possible. I just think you look at it as they run the offense through him. He's a main part of the defense. He is a system fit for this team. You wouldn't think just by looking at him that he is, but he really is a system fit. And I think Jordy likes him. And I think you need a special type of big to run the offense that the Nets run. Now, could they get Boozer and that changes everything? Of course. But if you're not going to get a big like a Boozer, or you're going to get someone who could run that, I guess you'd call like a point forward in the point series offense, like who's going to run the offense? That position is almost like a point guard. You need someone who could run it. It took Claxton a year. It did, but he looks good in the role right now, and that's why I think he's going to stay.
I want to address John's comment here because I think it's fair. If they don't get rid of either Sharp or Claxton, is it a trade deadline failure? Is this a Sean Marks failure to have both of these guys for the whole season? It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but I'll let you guys field this.
Go ahead, Dylan.
I'm not going to say that it's a failure because, again, it's clear as day. The Nets have 2 contracts on the books that would be used next season for a trade. One of either Michael Porter Jr. or Nick Claxton. So if you're not getting at least a slight overpay for one of them, there's no point of moving them if your entire goal is to land a star next offseason via trade. There's just nothing that you have that will get you to that point where you can get a star afterwards. So
if you say a star, are you okay with Ja or Zion? Because you can land one of those guys. That's what. So you're not getting Giannis, okay? Like I don't see. I said the same. Okay, maybe I said. I remember having this conversation 5-6 years ago, whatever it was. Like, there's no way they're getting KD and Kyrie. Like, that's not gonna happen. Good things don't happen to us, and it happened. So maybe, but I don't. Realistically, I don't think there's much of a chance that Giannis comes here. We don't really have a package for him, unless they want nothing but picks. But like, still, I don't even know how we're matching contracts there. So I don't really see any chance that Giannis is coming in here. So what star are we getting?
I'm not sure.
Any
available.
Well, we're talking about doing it this. We're talking about doing this in 5 months from now, right?
Mitchell could be an option.
Yeah, he could be.
He's shown prior interest in Brooklyn. He was one of he had us as one of his 3 teams that he wanted to come to before getting traded to Cleveland. So I could see Donovan Mitchell being revisited for Brooklyn. There was another opportunity where Brooklyn could have almost gotten him for Ben Simmons.
You do have to sell high on Claxton. Nate makes a good point. I think moving him now is selling him high. Would you guys agree with that? Like, moving on from Claxton now would be selling high. Like, I don't think his value is going to get much higher because we know what he is as a player, and right now he's been playing very well. It was kind of the trauma of last year is kind of gone, is it not?
Just to answer, I want to go back to the question that I forgot. John said whether it's going to be a failure if none of those guys are traded. I agree with Dylan. It's definitely not a failure because what if a deal to trade them would have been like a 2nd round pick that's protected in 2050? Would you say that's a win? Like, no. Both of those guys are going to be under contract for next season, and you could trade them then. There's no rush if you're not getting the deal that you feel confident in. I'd rather just keep them and you see what happens. And as far as selling high in Claxton, yeah, his value is probably not going to get higher, right? Like this is probably the version of Claxton that's going to be here next year. So you can sell him if you want, but I think his value is more is staying with the Nets than it would be trading him, unless you really are getting a valuable first round pick, which I don't think the Nets would get really.
Speaking of trading high, Day'Ron Sharpe right now, his stock is high. He leads the NBA in offensive rebound percentage. It's one of the highest, if not the highest, in the history of basketball. I don't know if you guys are aware of that.
Yeah.
It's actually staggering what he's doing on the offensive glass. Offensive rebounding is one of those things that is irreplaceable, right? You see teams compete because they clean up the offensive glass. The Knicks 2 years ago being one of them. Any value in him? Like, can we get a first for him? If so, is that something you guys be into? I don't want to trade him. I want to keep him, but I'm just saying, any value in him? Would anyone offer you a first for him because of what he's doing on the glass?
Go ahead, Dylan.
I do think that there's a team out there that would. I'm not going to say unprotected, but like a heavily protected lottery pick or potentially a not as valuable maybe swap that somebody's willing to get rid of. Yeah, I could see it. But ultimately, I think that, 3 or 4 seconds would do it, which, again, I just don't want at the moment.
Yeah, I don't want that either. We got so many seconds. We got another one. How many seconds does anyone have the tracker? How many seconds do we have now?
100.
I think it's like in the 20s, like the high 20s right now.
Yeah, what do you do with them? Like, I just don't know what you do with them.
Well, weren't guys just traded this trade deadline for players using second round picks?
Say that again.
What did this trade today? Just today in general, weren't second round picks used in trades? They are value to them.
Yeah, I mean, sure. It's not that there's no value in them. Okay. How many trades are we going to make? We're going to make a trade every day to get rid of these picks? You know, we have so many second round picks, like so many.
They're deal sweeteners. They're deal sweeteners, basically. And let's face it, if you do hit on a second round pick, that's incredibly valuable to an NBA team with the salary cap. That's super valuable. And you have to look at it as an asset from that view. They're not looking at it as like, oh, yeah, in 2032, blah, blah, blah. They're saying, that could be an asset that I could develop. And if I'm rebuilding, that may be something that's valuable to me.
I wanted to ask this question real quick. Dylan, you mentioned that there may be a team interested in Day'Ron Sharpe. A couple of teams that shout out to me, Golden State, Oklahoma City, teams that aren't awesome on the glass. Was there a team in mind when you said that someone may offer you something for Day'Ron Sharpe?
Yeah.
Did you have
OKC? I think
OKC.
OKC would be the team that's willing to give up a first because they've got 4 this year, now 3 after the Jared McCain trade. But ultimately, I think that would be the team that would show the most interest. Ousmane Dieng, I believe, got traded to Charlotte. Oh, we just got a trade. The Orlando Magic are trading Tyus Jones to the Charlotte Hornets for cash considerations.
The league does not value Tyus Jones. That's interesting. I love Tyus Jones. I think
he's been awful this year.
I know, but he's a quintessential point guard. Right? He doesn't turn the ball over. He doesn't take bad shots. I know he's a little undersized. I don't know. Both of them, Tyus and Trey. I like both of them. Now, am I alone on that?
I mean, they've been struggling this year, so I can't necessarily say that I like them. But
okay, all right. Just Jalen Wilson. I wanted to mention this. Who's getting bought out or getting cut now? Who's getting bought out of their contract since we brought in Ochai? Ochai. Who's gone? Is it Jalen Wilson? It's Jalen Wilson, right?
Probably.
Pete?
Why not Cam Thomas?
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I mean, because I do think he's getting.
If he gets bought out, I'm sorry, but my hate watch, I'm gonna laugh. I'm gonna love every second of it.
Does anyone pick him? I guess if you get him for nothing, you'll take him, right? But you still got to cut someone on. Pete, you've been like the last Cam Thomas, and I'm not saying that you're a Cam Thomas stan. You're not, but you've still defended him to some degree, right?
A little. This is how I defend Cam Thomas. I say there has to be at least one team in the NBA that is willing to give up a protected second round pick in 2032 to give Cam Thomas a chance on their roster to see if he can't make them better for 10, 15 minutes a game.
It's a logical. It's a logical position, Pete. Right? Like if I was a team that lacked scoring up the bench, all right, I'll give you a protected 2032. I'll give it unprotected second 2032. Like whatever.
Like the Cavs, there's a rumor the Cavs might be interested in them.
We've talked about that a little bit. Yeah.
Like you know, like what would hurt them to give up a second round pick 7 years from now to look at a chance to see if this guy could put you possibly in a better position come playoff time? It doesn't hurt because you know what? It doesn't work out. He sucks in the locker room. He sucks on the court. We cut him. No harm, no foul. That's how I see it. There has to be at least one team. You cannot tell me there's not one team. That's my position.
And that's a totally reasonable position, right? But I would say if we're trading Cam Thomas, we're going to have to take salary back in return. So like the Cam Thomas is going to be a player for player trade, right? Like we're going to have to take out a bad contract, no?
He's only making $6 million, so you'll take in a contract of somebody who's probably expiring or whatever, and you could buy them out or just waive them or whatever. You know what I mean? Like then if the Nets are only getting back a 2032 second round pick for Cam Thomas, they're not going to want to take back a long-term contract that's going to be on the cap, right? It's going to be someone who's expiring. It's not going to be anything crazy.
That's Dylan. I think this is going to be the last time we ever talk about Cam Thomas as a Brooklyn Net. So any closing words in that trade? When we've done anyone in particular, we talked about Cleveland possibly. What are your closing thoughts? I'll let you close the book here on Cam Thomas because I do feel we'll never talk about him as a member of the Brooklyn Nets ever again after this show.
Yeah. I mean, I'll start off with the trade that I think is most likely. I think it's Max Strus and a 2031 first-round swap for Haywood Highsmith and Cam Thomas. Maybe the Nets have to throw in some seconds there, but I definitely think that is a potential option on the table. Strus has had a really bad year. His contract isn't the greatest. You know, there's 2 more years, considerably 1 more year after this season. So I definitely think that the Nets could get some form of value for that. Final thoughts for Cam Thomas? Good riddance.
Pete, when we close the book, and I think we're closing the book on him tomorrow, for better or for worse, win, lose, or draw, whatever.
I do think we're close. Sorry to interrupt. Tonight. I think it's happening tonight. The Cavs play the Kings right now. I think when that game's finished, there's a chance that trade happens.
Pete, when the book is closed on Cam Thomas, 4.5 years as a Brooklyn Net, whatever it is, what are your thoughts on Cam? His tenure as a member of the Brooklyn Nets?
It's going to be really interesting if he gets on a playoff team to see him cook in the playoffs. That's all I'll say.
I would love to see it. I'll be rooting for him just like I'm rooting for Sam Darnold this Sunday. I want him to do well, even though it didn't work out with my team. I am rooting for Cam Thomas. I know Dylan is not.
I can't wait for him to go 4 of 16 in the playoffs and get benched after 10 minutes.
And remember, he wanted $30 million. And now, in order to trade him, I'm going to have to throw in seconds to trade him. It's I think turning down that 2-year, $28 million contract was a mistake in retrospect.
Yeah, absolutely. He's kicking himself about that for sure.
He did fire his agent, by the way.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind. It's rough, but I think Dylan's trade Cleveland, that may make some sense. Like you guys both said Cleveland as a possibility. So I'm going to over under 0.5. The Nets make 0.5 more trades the rest until the deadline.
I potentially see 1 or 2 more.
Okay.
I see 1 more.
Supposed to say over. 1.5. Would you take the over on that too?
I would not, but that's what I'm hoping happens.
I'm going to take the under on that.
Okay. So I guess we all think one more. And so if Cam Thomas isn't traded, how embarrassing is this for the Brooklyn Nets and Cam Thomas?
Extremely.
Why would it be embarrassing if he's just cut?
Because you bought. Why did you bring him back on the qualifying offer? You cut other players like Kobe Buffkin. We could have had Kobe Buffkin.
Why do you love Kobe Buffkin?
I don't love Kobe Buffkin. I don't understand why Cam Thomas. I said this back in July. I don't understand why Cam Thomas is on this team. It didn't make any sense then. It doesn't make any sense now. It makes zero sense to have Cam Thomas here, and he doesn't even play anymore.
I can tell you why very easily. Because there was a chance he would have some value. In a scenario that he goes out and he plays well, you do get a trade for him with something coming back of value, right? Obviously, it didn't happen. But if there's a 10% chance of keeping him on the roster would get Sean Marks a good asset, he was going to keep him on the roster because Kobe Buffkin would give him a 0% chance of getting good value back in a trade.
I just don't think it's worth all the headaches to maybe get a protected second 7 years from now. 6 years from now. I just don't know that that's worth the headache. I'd rather just play one of the other guys. To me, the juice here isn't worth the squeeze. That was my entire point from the beginning. You're not getting anything for him. And he's just going to be a headache. He's just going to take minutes away from other guys. There's no plus. There's no upside to having Cam Thomas here. And I said that over and over again. It makes no sense to either give him a contract.
It's not worth it to you.
What is the upside of getting the 47th pick in the draft in 2032? How is that worth anything?
What is the point of getting any draft pick?
We have more draft picks than we could possibly use on a roster. We have more second round draft picks than we can use to sweeten deals.
All right. I'm gonna help you out here.
All right,
so you like how Danny Ainge does business? You like how OKC does business? Do they stockpile draft picks?
Do they stockpile as many second rounders as the Nets? Second rounders?
Yes, they do.
All right.
No, they do.
Okay.
They do.
All right.
If you like how they do business, that's how they do business. Because you know why? Because the flexibility of having every asset you can gain in your store is better than it being outside of your store. Maybe that, you know what? Maybe you're right. The second rounders, maybe they suck. But you know what? When you're making a deal and you throw in an extra 3 second-round picks that don't hurt you to get a deal done, it makes a difference then.
But you're devaluing the second-round pick and saying that. Losing it does me no harm. You understand what you're like? You're using your argument to defeat your own argument.
No, the reason why I said it doesn't hurt you is because you have so many.
By the way, the Orlando Magic also added 2 second-round picks into the deal.
There you go. There you go. Second-round picks.
This lifts Charlotte's draft capital to 11 first-round picks and 14 second-round picks over the next 7 years.
Damn, why do they get these second-round picks, Dylan? Damn.
Orlando is now under the luxury tax.
There you go.
Shams with great timing on that one, by the way.
Yeah, shout out to him. I'll have to talk to him later and thank him.
That was perfect timing. Shout out Shams. Yes. It's not like I don't like second round picks. It's just like I feel like we're like overflowing with it. It's like, remember there was that show on TV where no one ever got rid of their garbage and their entire house was filled with garbage. Like I feel like that's what the Nets are doing with second round picks. Like what I have to get rid of these, and they're not getting rid of them. They're just accumulating more and more garbage. And I don't mean to call them garbage, but like what percentage of second round picks actually hit? And by hit, I mean our rotational player in the NBA.
That's a great point. But then why did we just hear a trade with 2 of them being used in a deal? I'll tell you what, you see them as pennies. GMs see them as pennies with a chance of becoming $1.
One day, people are going to agree with me, right? It's not my. I said this in football. I said punting on 4th and 1 is retarded. I said punting on 4th and 3 or 4th and short over the middle of the field is retarded. There was no, you have to punt on 4th and 3 or the 50s. Like, no, you don't. It's stupid too. And now everybody goes for it on 4th and 3 from midfield. This is my new take that people are going to accept. The second round picks are, I don't want to call them useless. It's not like I wouldn't want one, but it's like, what is it really doing?
There's a great chance it's going to fail.
It's almost a certainty.
In the NBA, you have a cap. You have a whole cap that you have to go by, right?
Yep.
So
I get that there's some
get-
value, right?
but
If I was
let me
a team
let
that
me
was
finish.
go ahead.
Let me finish. The whole game of this is trying to add in as much value as you can into your cap, right? Getting the best players you could fit underneath that number. And second round picks are a great way to do it. And you're right, they fail a lot. But the time that they hit, they're extremely valuable.
For sure. And there's also value. Like if I'm a team that is pressed for the cap and pressed for roster spots, I'd rather have 31 than 30 because it's a non-guaranteed roster spot and he makes less money. So the second rounders, especially high second rounders, have a value like that, right? It's there's less risk in drafting a guy at 31 than there is at 30. A lot less risk because there's no guaranteed contract and there's no
Exactly.
yeah. All right. I know I gotta wrap up. P, are you free tomorrow if the Nets do make any trades that we can go live?
It depends when I'm actually recording an episode around 4:30, but after that I might be free.
Okay. All right. Text me tomorrow.
right.
And I'm gonna be in New York in March. We need to figure out what day you're free and we can go to a game.
All right, let me know.
Dylan, what do you got for us? Close us out.
Trade Cam Thomas.
I
Post ready to go.
Is he in a Cavs uniform? Is he in a Cavs jersey?
No, he's in his usual place on the bench.
On the bench. He plays 10 minutes a game. And he won
Pretty
$30 million. And now we're going to have to add seconds just to trade him. This is extraordinary. All right, guys. Pete, you want to plug your channel? Let everyone know where they can find you. You got a show coming out tomorrow.
Not coming recording tomorrow, but it'll be out soon enough. Yeah, you can follow me at NetFans on Twitter. I do a podcast called NetFans You can check that out on YouTube. And yeah, thanks for having me on.
All right, thanks for jumping on, people. For me and Dylan, it's January. No, it's not. It's February 4th, 2026. Nice. Yeah, I'm saying 2026 now. No more 2025. It's February 4th, 2026. Baby steps. From Texas to the world. Thank y'all, and God.